I am redoing this video again. This is the Affixing Augmenting Basics 101 for Phantasy Star Online 2. Before I get started though, I will have to correct myself in my previous video about a couple points. And if you want to see a certain point, you can look in the description. There will be time skips. If you want to see my old video, there will be a link to it. It is going to be unlisted. But the thing is, when I talk about this, I don't care if I'm using footage in the Japanese PSO2. There might be some things that I might state about the Japanese PSO2. However, this is going to be a universal thing. This is going to be factual. This is going to state the basics you need to know. Now, this is basic. If you want to know about SAFs, if you want to know about this, and this, I have a playlist talking about various little things because there's a lot of things when it comes to affixing. This is just some of the basic stuff you need to know when you get into affixing. You need to know where to affix. You want to know how to go about it. You need to know some of these basic rules, these basic functions. Once again, there's a playlist, a new updated playlist in the description upper right hand corner if you want to see certain things like ability transfer, or if you want to know how to stack your abilities, how to change these percentages, how to use souls to your advantage, how to do this, and this. There's going to be a bunch of videos in the description. Go ahead and check that out. To start this process, you need to go to a particular NPC. They will be located on the first floor of the shopping area. They're going to be right next to the item unchecker NPC and the pet lab NPC. If you're on an odd block, you'll see a male called Dudu. If you're on an even block, you will see a female called Monica. These two are the same, well, I wouldn't say the same person, but they do the same thing. They will help you grind and upgrade and do a bunch of stuff for your weapons and units. You want to talk to them so you can start the process. When it comes to affixing, you need to talk to them and you want to select the second option, add abilities or add augments. It's going to be right below item grinding. Now, I am showcasing the Japanese PSO2. There are a couple options that are there that are not there in the North American PSO2. You can just ignore that for now. I'm talking about abilities. There are other functions to some of these other things that I will talk about in later videos, but for now, when it comes to just adding abilities onto your weapon units, it's going to be that second option. Before I get into this point, let me explain how you want to do this. So once you get onto the screen, it may seem a bit daunting / confusing, but it's straightforward. What you want to do is select the piece you want to work with, and then it will allow you to choose up to 5 items to work with. And if you have a certain ability on these items, it will be able to transfer, granted that there are certain rules and concepts you need to understand. This is just a basic though. I'm just telling you guys, this is how you are going to do this, and this. There are some rules that are going to be stated here. There are some things that's going to be tampering with how you go about affixing basic concepts. But there will be more videos in the playlist in my affixing guide that talks about these various concepts, like how to actually change these percentages, how you want to go about doing this, and this. Just note that I'm just stating the very basic stuff when it comes to affixing without going into a bunch of confusing things, because if I overload you guys with information, it's not going to make sense. So pretty much when it comes to this affixing video, is telling you basic points, basic rules, basic things, and then it goes further into details later in the other videos. But I want to stress this out because this is just basic stuff. This is going to be a no-brainer, but you will need money to start this process, to do this process. Make sure you have enough on you so you can do whatever you need to do. The second point I'm going to emphasize on is weapon to weapon, units to units. I do not care if you have like a good ability on a weapon. You cannot actually transfer that onto your unit. The game will not allow you to do that, and you'll see me tour around with the option and you will see that it's only showing me the weapon and units. Point number 3 is that it has to be the same number of abilities, augments, or higher. So if I had a 2 slot, and the easy way to figure this out is if you look at the weapon, you can stare at that like rainbow square icon that has a number beside it. That is the number of abilities you have. Now you can also look at your weapon info or your unit info with the the first tab, that line, and then it has like stamina 2 or something down there. That is where your augments, your abilities are, or you can go to the third section and it will show it as well. Note that timed abilities, and when it comes to old type potential weapons, they do not count as an ability or an augment. It's only the stuff that's in white. And when it comes to you trying to toy around with something that's at an 8 slot and you want to use a 2 slot fodder, that is not possible. The game will not allow you to select that certain fodder piece with that number on it. Point number 4 will be a fixed price. Now this is extremely important because it depends on what you're doing with the affix. Are you trying to make fodder piece? Are you trying to actually finalize a weapon? You want to pay attention to that price because the more fodder pieces you use to actually affix, the higher the cost. There is a way around it though. Now this is going to piggyback on point number 4, but I will not go into a lot of details about it in this video. There will be a separate playlist talking about fodder making, how you want to go about it, and how this is useful. But I'm just going to put it in here because this is a factual thing. When it comes to using a low rarity weapons and or units, you can use them as a main base fodder, which will then save you money. Because the lower the rarity, the lower the cost. The higher the rarity, the higher the cost. There's a reason to why it's actually going higher when you choose a high rarity weapon and or unit. Point number 6 is that you always use 2 material items. You will have your first item that you'll select. Let's say you want to upgrade your 14-star weapon or 15-star weapon, so whatever weapon. And you select one option, one fodder material. It's good unless you try to upslot. When you want to upslot, you want to use 2. I will explain this further in the upslotting video. You can check in the upper right hand corner in the description or in the playlist, but it is there and it explains why this is important. Point number 7 is going to be a bit tricky, but pretty much if they have the same name or something of that same type of usage, then you cannot have 2 of them. You might be wondering, what the heck am I talking about, Morph? Okay, so here's the thing. If you look at a soul, they can give you a lot of perks. However, when you shove it onto a weapon or unit, you cannot have 2 of the same souls. This is why you can only choose 1. For example, let's say you're trying to affix a 13-star weapon. You want to use fodder materials that have like a bunch of Volsos and Quartzo, and you're trying to put Volso and Quartzo onto your 13-star unit or weapon. That's not a thing. The game will not allow you to do that because it's going to overwrite that slot. Souls are pretty much, you can only use 1 soul on a weapon or unit. They might change that later on, but for now, this has been a universal thing. You can only choose 1 type of soul. So if you want to get Volso, you can only get Volso. If you want Quartzo, you can only get Quartzo. You cannot have both of them. The same can be said with grades. So you got like power 3 and power 4. You want to try to shove both of them together, that's not going to be a thing. You can only choose power 4 or power 3. Or might 4 and might 3 in NA terms. Now you might be wondering, okay, how about lesser might and might? They are different because lesser might is not the same as a might. There's lesser in front of the might. So you can't have lesser might and might together. So yeah, if they have the same name or they kind of are in the same field, you cannot have 2 of those same things. For example, you cannot have 2 marks on the same weapon or unit. It is not a thing. They might change that later, but for now, it is only 1 type of ability for that, which is why there are some things you got to consider when it comes to you constructing some of these formulas for your final affixes. And this last point is usability success boosters whenever you need to, along with the protection item. There is a protection item, 4 slot, 5 slot, 6 slot. I think they're increasing the numbers. And then also when it comes to using the ability success boosters, they can boost your numbers by +5, +10%, +20%. I think it was 20 or 15. 30%, 40%, 45%, 50%, and they even got a 60%. So if you have them, use them when you need to use them, especially on a finalized affix, or so you can skew the numbers or make sure that, you know, you get to 100% or close to. And that concludes this video. Now, I could have gotten into more details about the ability success boosters and where to get them at and how to do this, and some other things, but I am making a separate playlist talking about fodder making, talking about how you want to go about farming for these augments and abilities. I'm not going to have it in this video. I shortened it even further compared to my last one, just because some of it is unneeded information, and if you're gonna get into the business of making fodder and also doing a bunch of stuff, then that playlist is going to be for you. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at the basics level If you want to see some other details about certain things, like let's say you don't know much about S-class abilities or special ability, factors of special ability, augments, that's what I call it, ability transfer options and all that, I have it in my Affix playlist. I also talk about 3 endgame abilities that a lot of players in Japanese PSO2 are going for, but when it comes to North American PSO2, it's going to be an issue, and I'm going to state why in a separate video, which go into details about receptors. But for now, that's it. If you got any question, comment, concerns, put it down below. Once again, when it comes to my playlist, it does go into a lot more details about certain things like stacking abilities, how you can change those percentages, SAFs, how you want to use them, along with S-class abilities, and blah, 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 blah. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.